Let's see how to handle form errors that may occur with HTMX and with this modal dialog that we have for adding a new contact. Now we saw in the last video, right at the end of the video, that when we try and add an email address that's already in the contact list, nothing happens, and if we go back to the server here, you can see the unique constraint has failed, and that's because a user cannot add an email address that they've already added to the contact list. But of course, we need to handle this on the client side as well, and we need to show some feedback to the user. We're going to handle that in this video, and we're going to start by going to forms.py, and this is where we wrote the contact form in Django. What I'm going to do here is add a method for the email address validation, and in Django the convention in forms is to call that method clean underscore and then the name of the field, in this case that's email, and we can perform validation of the email address in this function. So let's do that just now, and we're going to start by getting the email from the cleaned data. We can use self.cleaned-data and extract the email address that was submitted from that. Once we have the submitted email address, we can check if that email already exists for this user. So we're going to use the contact model for this. Let's create an if statement here, and we're going to use the Django ORM, and it's contact.objects.filter. So we're going to use some initial data here to get the logged in user. So we're going to use self.initial.get, and we're going to get the user that we're going to pass in a second. And secondly, we want to filter by the email address and look for email addresses that are equal to what has been submitted here. And after we've filtered, we're going to check if this exists. And what we're going to do then is raise a validation error. And don't worry if this user self.initial.get thing doesn't make sense at the moment. We're going to explain that in a second. And the message I want to pass to the validation error is that you already have a contact with this email address. And if we don't get any validation error, in other words, if the if statement is false, we can simply return the email address from the clean email function. Now let's import validation error at the top, and that's going to come from django.core.exceptions. And then if we go back down to the method, let's now handle this self.initial.get. What that's basically doing is it's going to get any initial data that's passed into the form instance. And that's what we need to get the logged in user into this form. Remember the contacts that we're searching through here, we want to get any email addresses that already exist, but only for the authenticated user. And that's because the unique constraint is on the user and the email field. So we're allowing multiple users to have the same contact email address, but for a single user, we want to prevent them adding a duplicate email address as a contact. So we're checking if that duplicate exists with this if statement, and we're raising the validation error if that's the case. Now we need to pass the user in as this initial data, so let's go to views.py, and we're going to do that now when we instantiate the contact form with the posted data. So forms in Django, they can take this initial parameter, which is a dictionary, and we can set the user here to the request.user property, and request.user refers to the authenticated user, so we're passing that in as initial data. And then we're using that initial data here in the filter statements. So we're going to get all contacts belonging to the user with an email address equal to the one that's already been submitted. Now I want to test this out, so let's go back to the browser here and refresh the page. And I'm going to try and add another duplicate here with the same email address that already exists. Now when we add this, again, nothing happens in the front end at the moment. If we go to Django though, you can see that we get now a value error. And this is telling us that the view did not return a response. So why is this happening? Let's go back to views.py. Now we're checking here if the form is valid, but the problem is that the form is no longer valid because of this new clean email function. It's going to detect that we have a duplicate email address for the user, or rather for the user's contact. And therefore, because this is going to raise a validation error, the form.isValid function is going to return false, which means that all of this code is not going to be executed, but we don't have an else block at the moment. So what we need to do is add an else block to handle the case when the form is not valid. And what we want to do here is we want to return the modal itself with the form already populated with the errors. So let me explain this a second. When we submit the form and we've got a problem, what we want to do is take this existing modal and we want to replace it with the new modal that contains the data already submitted by the user and also the error messages that have been generated on the server. So I hope that makes sense. I think it will make more sense after we write the code. What I'm going to do is copy this render statement here, and we're going to bring that down into this else block. So we're generating a response, but we're going to change the template that we're referencing. Remember, we want to return the modal, so what we're going to do is go to our partials, and it's this add contact modal here that we want to use. So let's reference that template here, and we can then close the sidebar. So when we have a form error, what we're going to do is return the modal itself. And we're going to change the context here, and we're just going to do this inline, and we're going to add the form with the errors to the context. So basically we have a form that we've instantiated with the data that the user submitted, but for whatever reason the form is not valid if we get that else block. So we're going to take this form and we're going to add it to the context, and we're going to render this partial here with the modal that contains the form. Now we need to do some other things here to get this working. Now one thing we need to do is change the target of the response. So what I'm going to do is go to the modal here that contains the form, and this form, when it's submitted, you can see the target is the table body, but when we have an error, we don't want to place the modal into the table, we just want to replace the existing modal. So we need to retarget the response here when we have an error, and we can retarget it by using this dialog with the ID of contact modal at the top. Now in HTMX you can retarget the response from the server by using another HTTP header. So let's add that here, and it's the hx-retarget response header. And we're going to set that to the ID of contact modal, and that's the dialog's ID, and that dialog is what the modal essentially represents on the front end. So if we look at our modal here, it's this ID, and we're replacing the entire content of the existing ID with the new one that contains the form with populated errors. So for example here, we are iterating over the form errors attached to the name field, and we have something similar for the email field as well. We're going to expect to see those now because the form has errors and we want to see them on the modal itself. So that's the purpose of retargeting this, to replace the existing modal. And we also want to change the swap mechanism, because if we go back to this modal here and go to the form, currently the swap is set to after begin, but that's only going to work with the table. With the modal, we want to replace the entire content. So what we're going to do is add another header here called hx-reswap, and we can set that to one of the HTMX swap mechanisms, and this one is going to be outer HTML. So when we take the response and we use the outer HTML swap method, what that's going to do is replace the entire target here with the new data from the server. Now before we go on, this mechanism here of referencing front-end IDs in your server-side code, I know this is a bit of a controversial technique. Some people don't like this lack of separation of concerns, but I think there are trade-offs when you're working with HTMX and Django compared to with React and Django, for example. There are other ways of doing this kind of work on the back end where you don't need to reference a modal specifically. But I think for these small kind of applications, there's nothing wrong with this technique at all. But if you have any opinions on this, let us know in the comments. Now before we return the response here, which I'm going to do just now, I want to actually add one more header to the response. And what that header is going to be is the hx trigger after settle header. Now we're going to explain this in a second, but let's set this to fail. We already saw above the hx trigger header, which we set to success, and then we used that here with this hx on attribute to close the modal when we successfully get a response. In other words, when we successfully add a contact using this form, we're going to use that success event to close the modal and show the table. But of course, what happens when we don't successfully add a contact and we have an error? Well, we're going to return the modal here, and it's going to contain the form and the errors in that form. But the problem is, when we return that content, the modal itself is not going to be opened unless we trigger that event programmatically. So what we're going to do is use this attribute here called hx-trigger-after-settle, and I say attribute is actually a response header, and this corresponds to one of the response headers that HTMX provides. So if we look at these here, hx-trigger will allow you to trigger client-side events, but the hx-trigger-after-settle header, that's going to allow you to trigger those events after the settle step. And that's important because when we return the modal with the form as the response here, we need to wait until that content is on the page before we can programmatically trigger the modal to open. So what we're going to do is use this fail event that we're going to trigger after the response content has settled in the DOM. So let's save this just now, and what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of JavaScript here to programmatically open the new modal that we're returning from the back end here. Before we add that, let's test this out just for now. What I'm going to do is refresh the page, and if we add another contact with the same email address, this time when we click add contact, you can see that the modal has disappeared, and the reason for that is because the contact modal that was originally on the page has been replaced with the new partial, and we're swapping in the new modal by replacing entirely the content of the previous modal. But the problem that we're going to try and solve in a second is that the new modal that's been returned from the server is here on the page, it just hasn't been opened yet. So when we click add new contact to actually open the modal, you can see we get the previous form here, including the error that you already have a contact with this given email address. Now what we want to happen when we have this kind of error is we want the old modal to be replaced, and we want to programmatically open the new one so that it's here on the page and the user can then edit the contact information. So we're going to add a little bit of JavaScript here to handle this. So let's go to contacts.html, and this is the kind of parent template for that entire page. What we're going to do within this block content here is go to the bottom, and we're going to add a script tag here, and we can close that off. And we're going to write a little bit of JavaScript here to listen for that fail event. So let's use document.addEventListener here. And we're going to listen for the DOM content loaded event, which is fired by the browser when the page is loaded. When we get that event, we can write an arrow function here to handle what happens next. And on the document.body, I'm going to use another event listener here. And we're going to listen for that fail event from the server. And when we get that event, we can write another arrow function to handle what happens when that fail event is returned. Now what I want to do here is get the contact modal. So we're going to use document.getElementById, and that has an ID of contact modal. And that's going to be there on the page. It's going to have replaced the previous modal. Once we have that, we can then call the show modal function from Daisy UI in order to actually take that new modal that's been returned and programmatically trigger the show event so that the user can see that and edit the contact form. So with all that done, let's try this one more time and go back to the page. When we try and add a new contact here, and we have that duplicated email address, when we click add contact, we get back the new modal, and that's populated with the errors for the email field. So we can show the new modal because we've used that trigger after settle header from HTMX, and the old modal is replaced with this new one, which we then programmatically show using a little bit of JavaScript on the client side. And note as well that if we go to forms.py, we can add a clean name function, and that's for the name field of the contact. So I'm going to add a dummy function here. What this is going to do is extract the name that's been submitted from the client, and if that name starts with the letter X, it's going to raise a validation error here, no names beginning with X. So let's see that in action, and we're going to see that this works with both of the fields when that form is returned. So I'm going to add a contact beginning with X here, and we're also going to use that duplicate email address. And when we click add contact, you can see that the two errors are appearing underneath the fields. So we now have a system where we can add a new contact, and when we do that, that successfully adds the contact to the table that we see on the page. But if we try and add a new contact that contains some errors in the form submission, that's going to return that modal to us and show it on the page so that we can then fix those errors and then resubmit the form. And we've seen in this video how we can use different HTTP headers in the response to trigger actions on the client depending on the success and failure of given events in our system. And all of the functionality that we built here is working without any kind of page reloading, and it's very easy to wire all this up using HTMX and the attributes that it provides. So in the next video, we're going to move on to deleting items. We already have this delete button here. We're going to learn how to use the HX delete attribute and wire up that kind of delete functionality in the next video.